Hello, welcome to Math with Mr. Dobrescu, to the rescue. Today we are going to multiply numbers in scientific notation. Very exciting day today because now we are going to multiply the numbers in scientific notation and take a look at some of the steps we are going to use today. Some of the steps we are going to use are, we are going to use the commutative and the associative properties of multiplication. We are going to regroup these numbers by using the commutative and associative property of multiplication first. So take a look at this expression here. We have 3 times 10 to the negative 5 in a parenthesis times 5 times 10 to the negative 2 in a parenthesis. And remember, multiplication is associative. So we can rearrange the parenthesis the way we want. And we also are going to use the commutative property. We are going to switch things around. So let's regroup 3 and 5. Everything here is multiplication. Times, times, and times. So we are going to regroup. We are going to regroup 3 and 5. 3 times 5. And we are going to put the parenthesis around 3 times 5. We bring the 3 and the 5 in that parenthesis. And now we are going to regroup 10 to the negative 5 and 10 to the negative 2 in another parenthesis. Times 10 to the negative 5 times 10 to the negative 2 in another parenthesis. And here we use the commutative property and the associative property of multiplication. Okay? So first of all, we rearranged 3 times 5 by the commutative property. And then rearranged 10 times negative 5 and 10 times negative 2 in another parenthesis. And now let's solve. Let's solve this parenthesis now. 3 times 5 becomes 15 times. And now we are going to use another property. I'm not sure if I wrote it down. The product of powers property. Product of powers property. So using the power of product property, remember we have the same base. Anytime we have the same base, we keep the base and we add the exponents. So we have negative 5 plus negative 2. And let's see what we get. So we still have 15 times 10. Negative 5 plus negative 2 becomes negative 7 to the negative 7. But remember, our answer should be written in scientific notation. So right now, we just have positive 15. So remember, scientific notation means you go at the end of the number. Let's use another color here. The end of the number. And we need to have the digit between the first and the second digit. The decimal should be between the first and the second digit. So we move to the left one place. Remember, every time we move to the left, we are going to increase the exponent by 1. Okay, so that's going to be our final answer. Let's see what we get. So here we get 1.5 times 10. Negative 7 plus 1 becomes negative 6. And now we can say that we have the answer. And the answer is written in scientific notation. Again, 1.5 times 10 to the negative 6. Please take a moment, pause the video, look at these steps we used today in order for us to solve this multiplication problem, multiplying numbers in scientific notation, and we got to the answer. Okay? It's not very complicated. Let's take a look at another example. And in this example here, we are going to divide numbers in scientific notation. And here we have some steps. First of all, we are going to rewrite as a product of fractions. Take a look at this problem here. So in that problem there, we see that we have 1.5 times 10 to the negative 8 divided by 6 times 10 to the positive 7. So we are going to rewrite as a product of fractions. This is the same thing as 1.5 divided by 6 times 10 to the negative 8 divided by 10 to the positive 7. Is the same thing. But now we can see that now we have the whole numbers here. We are going to divide 1.5 divided by 6. And then now we are going to use the quotient of power property. It's one of the steps here in order for us to simplify that fraction. But first of all, let's divide 1.5 divided by 6 and see what we get. Remember, when we divide 1.5 divided by 6 is the same thing as, if we move this to the right one place, that becomes 15 divided by, and that is 0 here, 60. Of course, we are going to get a decimal because 15 is less than 60. Now let's divide. Top dog inside the house and 60 is outside. 60, of course, cannot go into 15. It only goes 0 times, and put the 0 right there above the 5. And then we multiply. 0 times 60 is 0. Okay, then we are going to subtract. 15 minus 0 is 15. Remember now, we add a 0 and a decimal right there. And now 60 into 150, of course 2 times. So let's put the 2 right there. 2 times 0, 150. We got to bring down the 0. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 6, 12. Let's subtract. 0, 5 minus 2 is 3. And again, now we are going to add another 0 and bring it down. And 60 into 300 is exactly 5 times. 5 times 60, we get 300. Okay, so 1.5 divided by 6, it gives us 0.25. So this becomes 0.25, so equals 0.25 times, and now let's use the quotient of power property. Quotient of powers property is telling us that we keep the base and we subtract the exponents. So negative 8 minus 7. And let's see what we get. 0.25 times 10 to the power of, okay, negative, and 8 minus 7 becomes negative 15. Okay? But are we done? And the answer is no, because 0.25 is not written in scientific notation. So now, in order for us to write 0.25 in scientific notation, instead of going to the left, now we are going one place to the right. Remember, scientific notation has to be, the decimal point has to be placed between the first and the second digit. So this becomes 2.5 times 10. And remember now, because we went to the right instead of going to the left, instead of adding one exponent to the negative 15, we are going to subtract 1 from negative 15, right? So the answer is 10 to the power of negative 15 plus means negative 1, or subtract negative 1 becomes negative 16. So now we can say the answer is 2.5 times 10 to the negative 16. Please remember to follow all these steps when we divide numbers in scientific notation. And again, the first step was for us to rewrite as a product of fractions. Product of fractions first. And then we use the quotient of powers property. And here we use the, here, every time we move the decimal to the right, we subtract an exponent. But 15 minus 1 is the same thing as 15 plus negative 1. That's what it means, which is 10 to the negative 16. And that's the answer. Please take a moment, review these 2 examples, how to divide numbers in scientific notation and how to multiply numbers in scientific notation. And I'm sure you'll be proficient and ready for the quiz. Thank you all so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. And again, hit that notification bell to make sure you are notified when I post more videos. Thank you all so much again, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best to you. Take care.